Hello, everybody. This is Bruce the Moose coming to you pre-recorded from the new studio location, full of wood paneling, a drop ceiling. What more could you ask for? Shag carpet. You can't see the carpet, but I assure you, we're fully carpeted here. I'm at the bar. It's fully carpeted. The bar stools are a fine leather-like material. I've got my coffee this morning. My coffee cup says, "Mutiny, you did the right thing." That's the mood we're in this morning, guys. We're in the mutinous mood. We're making a video. It's Monday morning. Just another Manic Monday. What are we doing today, guys? We are going to read through the latest bar complaint against the lawyer from the Owens v. Echard paternity case, David S. Gingras, Esquire. Currently, he is not representing Miss Owens in the Owens v. Echard paternity case because the case is over. They lost their appeals. He is not representing her in the Owens v. Maricini, California DVRO renewal case. And of course, he's not a criminal lawyer, so he's not representing her in the state of Arizona v. Owens criminal case, where Miss Owens has been indicted with 7 felony charges related to fraud, evidence tampering, and, of course, perjury. So, before we get into the latest bar complaint, I wanted to give some background as to what led up to this bar complaint for y'all. So, let's just get into that. Okay, what do we got first? So first, we have to understand... a while ago, I started covering this case with my friend Lauren Knighty over on the Court of Random Opinion. I'll put the link in the channel. Let's take a quick look at where we were when we started this collaboration and friendship.
If I had to pick a furry creature, does anybody remember the Wovloves? They were like these really creepy toys when I was growing up, and it was like a chicken nugget.
Screen.
Oh yeah, I will.
They're like
It's kind of blurry,
Furbies.
but you get the
Wait,
point.
what is this?
This is the Wovloves.
Prizes on your way. Here comes baby. Love Love is
Here
here
comes
with
baby.
a wonderful surprise.
It gives birth.
It's pregnant with twins? What the
Okay, so anyway, we started off just talking about Wovloves. I mean, very simple stuff, and we started reading court documents related to the Owens v. Echard case and all of that jazz. And of course, Laura's attorney and PR manager, David S. Gingras, did not appreciate any of this press because the commentary really didn't go his client's way. Let's check out Mr. Gingras here being interviewed by Reality Steve and Rachel Juarez.
Ultimately, if that happened, and if there was a criminal case, there may be a resolution of that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how that fleshes itself out in terms of getting all these questions answered. What if Rachel Mitchell has proof that Laura was pregnant? I don't know what that would be. I mean, she's been running around subpoenaing things, apparently.
Apparently, I mean, well, as turns out, they've been subpoenaing a lot of things. They did a whole raid on the Owens house property, took all of the electronics and all that, and got 7 felony indictments past a grand jury, and we are awaiting trial, just as he predicted here. Now, more recently, we've been covering the DVRO renewal that Miss Owens is trying to obtain against Mr. Maricini in California, even though she lives in Arizona, has never encountered Mr. Maricini outside of a courtroom for quite some time. I don't know why she wants a DVRO renewal against him while she has pending criminal litigation going on. But we've been following some of the motion filing that's been going on in that case. Let's take a look at that right over here.
Conclusion, Gingras' motions are an unnecessary and inflammatory tangent to the real issues in this case. Gingras chose to inject himself into this proceeding and, when met with rightful resistance through a well-grounded disqualification motion, he retaliated with personal attacks and meritless requests. The court should not allow this approach. Serrato's conduct did not violate any laws or rules to warrant sanctions or disciplinary actions. By contrast, Gingras' filings exemplify the scorched earth tactics that waste judicial resources and turn a domestic violence case into a personal grudge match.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a filing by Omar Serrato, counsel for Mr. Maricini, and he was basically seeking a disqualification motion for Mr. Gingras because of a conflict of interest regarding a 911 call that Mr. Gingras made on June 10th in Arizona for the Owens v. Echard paternity case, and how that relates to the DVRO renewal, because Mr. Maricini was a witness in that case on site June 10th. And of course, Mr. Gingras argues that he shouldn't have been allowed to be there because of a restraining order, even though it was a subpoenaed court action. He was a witness, and on the court site, there's scores of bailiffs, security, and extra police. Of course, Mr. Maricini was never arrested after the 911 call for violating the restraining order. So I don't know why Mr. Gingras thinks that it was an illegal action for him to be there. If it was, he would have been arrested and charged, and he would have faced repercussions for bad actions. That didn't happen, which to me is a proof by refutation that it was okay for Mr. Maricini to be there on June 10th in Arizona. And that's Omar's argument here as well, as far as I can tell. And he's really saying because Mr. Gingras is a witness or a participant in that part of the case, this DVRO renewal, he should not be allowed to be a lawyer and a witness at the same time. And he has a whole disqualification motion that we read through. You can go read and see about that. Now, Mr. Gingras is fighting back, of course, with his own motion work, even though he is not Miss Owens' attorney at this time, which is an interesting move. Let's check some of that out.
Seeking social media money and stardom, Mr. Serrato chose to file an utterly groundless, frivolous, and needless motion as a way of creating new YouTube content. What the fuck are you talking about? All right. Of course, posting a video about his motion on his own channel would be too sleazy, even for Mr. Serrato. David, you did that a lot of times.
That's crazy.
You did that a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. So he's complaining that people are making videos reading the court filings, and he's trying to connect Omar, the tilted lawyer, Maricini's lawyer, in terms of motivating people to make these videos. But really, none of us have talked to Omar about this case at all. I actually haven't talked to the guy since the last time we did Family Law After Dark, before he became Mr. Maricini's counsel. I think I sent him a text wishing him a happy birthday on his birthday, and that's about it. Of course, Mr. Gingras himself made quite a few videos on his own YouTube channel about the Owens v. Echard case while the case and the appeals were ongoing. So he's really accusing Omar of doing the very PR work that he himself actually did, that Omar never did, which I think is a bit of a double standard. Okay, so that's where we are there. Oh my gosh, what else do we have, guys? It's crazy. Let's see what our good friend Dave Neal has to say about all this.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's absolutely unhinged. I've had to think about my own safety discussing this lawyer. I've had people privately message me saying, dude, watch out for this guy. He is a nut. And so he claims that Omar made a threat because Omar had a thumbnail saying Gingras doesn't want the smoke, which I looked it up. I thought smoke meant heat, and it can mean different things. But the AI overview says to say someone doesn't want the smoke is a slang expression, meaning they want to avoid conflict, confrontation, or challenging situation because they are likely to lose, get hurt, or suffer negative consequences. Smoke is a metaphor for beef, heat, or any form of trouble.
And of course, as they're engaged in filing motions against each other, that is the actual conflict, that this metaphorical, do you want the smoke? They don't want the smoke. They want the smoke. That's what it's all about. It's not a violent threat. really, if I was talking about Omar and Gingras in terms of bringing the smoke, for me, it would be more of the context of maybe a rap battle where they could maybe write a haiku or a limerick or write some rap lyric rhymes and just play the dozens and diss each other on YouTube. It would be kind of fun, but that's all that means. In any case, the latest filing here, you can see it. Lauren has been mentioned in this filing along with another unmonetized channel, Loud Little Ducky, and a third unmonetized channel, Echoes from the Tabernacle. I will put the links to their channels in the description of the video below. Go check them out because they've been covering these court documents as well with their own commentary. And it's always good to see what different people are saying about these filings so you can make up your own mind. Now, in response to this latest, what are we calling it here? Unhinged filing about violent threats, Lauren Knighty, Lethal Lauren 904, Court of Random Opinion, has constructed a bar complaint to file in California and Arizona. And we're going to read through that right now. This may be a YouTube exclusive. I don't know. I think Loud Little Ducky and Echoes of the Tabernacle also have copies of this document. So watch their channels to see what they say about it. But my understanding is that David Gingras Esquire already has 11 bar complaints filed against him at least. And maybe, does this mean we're rounding it up to an even dozen? Or are we taking it to a baker's dozen because there's one in California and one in Arizona? I'm not actually sure on the math there. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But let's get into it and read through the latest bar complaint. All right, kids, here we go. We've got the complaint up. We're going to read through it. On September 15th, 2025, Arizona attorney David Gingras submitted a filing in the Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco, case number FDV 18813693, containing knowingly false and baseless allegations about me, a non-party with no involvement in the litigation. In this filing, Mr. Gingras used my image and online commentary to make irrelevant and defamatory claims accusing opposing counsel and I of participating in an outlandish conspiracy. At the time, Mr. Gingras was not counsel of record for any party. His actions served no legitimate legal purpose and were intended to harass and misrepresent me due to personal animus arising from my protected online commentary. Okay, that's a hot opening paragraph, guys. The thing I like about this, we don't have any needless adverbs. It's pretty good. We've got some 25-cent words here, like animus. I like it. Outlandish conspiracy. Indeed. Oh my gosh, guys, let's keep going. On September 15th, 2025, Mr. Gingras submitted a court filing seeking to intervene in a case to which I am not a party. And of course, that's the Mike Maricini DVRO renewal case brought by Miss Owens in California. In that filing, he used my image twice without my consent. Oh my gosh, I'm in there too, guys. I mean, if I knew I was going to make a court filing, I probably would have taken a better selfie. You know, you got to keep the camera up high when you're doing the selfie. Get that good look. I probably would have done something like that. Maybe done a selfie where I'm not wearing a hat or something. Get the, wait until my hair grows out a little bit. Get a little rough look. But anyway, I digress. Okay. Used my image twice without my consent, falsely accused me of conspiring with opposing counsel, a licensed attorney, based solely on my friendship with that attorney. And I think that's fair because there's no evidence that Omar Serrato, the tilted lawyer, has asked anybody to make any videos about any of these filings. If anybody was the lawyer for Mike Maricini, if anybody was the lawyer for Miss Owens in this case, we would be following the case and reading the court documents in YouTube live streams and YouTube videos anyway, right? So this is kind of ridiculous. Associated me with a false threat of gun violence, despite the fact that I've never threatened anyone, nor has any party in that case. And that's true. My personal take is when we were talking about bringing the smoke or whatever, and these things like MMA wrestling matches, or what is it, WWE. It's really just a joke, because when Mr. Gingras came on the case, he called himself the Conor McGregor of litigation, right? Which is just, it's just absurd. And just bring the smoke. To me, it's all about like, I'm going to talk some smack. I'm going to do the dozens. We're going to have a rap battle. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to write a limerick, maybe even a haiku. You know, ask me about my haikus. Okay, put it in the comments if you want me to write some haikus, guys. And that's all it is. There's no violence in any case. It's actually a double standard, because if you go back to Mr. Gingras's videos on the Owens v. Echard paternity case, there are multiple videos where he has guns in sight in his videos. One he's even holding while talking about how angry he is with the judge in the Owens v. Echard case. And of course, we know the judge filed a bar complaint against him. That's probably the most serious bar complaint he has levied against him at this time. And also Mr. Maricini, I think, has a bar complaint against him related to potential witness intimidation for harassing him and calling 911 at the June 10th hearing. Of course, Mr. Maricini was not arrested at that hearing. He had a perfectly safe reason for being there as a witness. There were bailiffs and security everywhere in the courthouse that day on June 10th. Ask me, because I was there. Okay, these allegations were unfounded, irrelevant to the legal issues, and clearly intended to harm my reputation and credibility. Yet, Gingras, he keeps doing PR and being a lawyer at the same time, which I think is a bad move. If you're going to do PR, just do PR. If you're going to be counsel for someone, just write legal filings. That's my advice. Okay. I've never been involved in the underlying litigation. My only connection to these matters is as a YouTube commentator who follows and discusses legal filings. Of course, I played some of those clips, so you've seen that. That's what we do, including those submitted by Mr. Gingras and his client, Laura Owens. Mr. Gingras chose to include me in his legal filings only when doing so served his false narrative. Okay, this is not the first instance of Mr. Gingras using legal processes to target me. Okay, interesting. Let's do some history here. He previously filed a copyright strike with YouTube against my fair use commentary, later admitting publicly via Twitter that he had not fully watched the content he claimed to own. Yeah, it's very straightforward. A lot of people will make a YouTube video, and then somebody else will make a commentary video about that video. And as long as there is sufficient commentary, sufficient analysis, sufficient reaction in the commentary video, that's fair use. You can comment on filings or comments on Twitter, blogs, YouTube videos, and that sort of thing. Now, maybe there's a gray line where if you're just playing content from someone else's channel and you're just making a goofy face during the whole thing and you don't really add any commentary or any analysis or any new information or new entertainment, maybe there's a gray line there. But in terms of the copyright strike, in this example, it was a certain amount of his video, and the analysis was, I think, over 2x the length of that original video. So lots and lots of commentary, lots of original comment. I think I was in that video. In any case, that's kind of wild. It's just bad form in any case. You don't want a commentary strike somebody else who's responding to your video. The correct course of action when we're talking about speech you don't like, if Mr. Gingras doesn't like something Lauren or I say in a video, what he should really do is just do his own video where he says, look, in this URL over here, at this timestamp here in the video, Lauren or Bruce, they say XYZ. Here's why I think they're wrong. Here's my evidence. Here's my argument. I think they're wrong. If he did that, he might actually convince me he was right about something. If he just tries to copyright strike you to quiet you without actually providing his own speech on why he thinks he's right or why his opinion is different, or why the information might be a mistake, an error, or just flat out wrong. It's not productive. It's not productive. It's like these flat earth videos. The correct remedy for people who think the earth is flat and make videos about flat earth on YouTube is not to shut down flat earth content on YouTube because you're scared of little kids watching it. The correct course of action is to make good content on YouTube that refutes the flat earth argument. We're going to go do the Eratosthenes well experiment. We're going to look at the validity of photographs from NASA. We're going to look at arguments by experts like Brian Cox or Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's the remedy. That's the remedy right there. Okay. He has made statements suggesting that legal commentators could be sued for discussing his public court filings, implying severe financial consequences. Yet he likes to wheel out these big threats. You know, he said, oh, by this time next year, I predict Dave Neal will be homeless and Laura's horses will have a new place to graze on his property once he's kicked out of his property in Tennessee. And of course, that prediction never came true. His predictions are very bad. He predicts he's going to win motions. He predicts he's going to win court cases. He predicts he's going to win appeals. And he just doesn't. He makes these outlandish predictions as a sort of threat for his PR work. It's hard to tell where his legal work ends and his PR work begins because it's all mixed up. I think it's a bad look. Bad optics. Okay. These actions reflect a pattern of using his law license to retaliate against critics rather than represent clients ethically. Exactly. I would recommend, if you're going to be somebody's counsel, just file your motions and get to the point. File your motions and get to the point. You don't need to talk about Donald Trump in your motions. You don't need to talk about Charlie Kirk in your motions. You don't need to mock the judge in your motions by saying, look at me, Daddy, I'm a real judge now. All of that is unnecessary. Just stick to what you want to say in your motions and leave it at that. If there needs to be PR, hire a PR firm. That's the only advice I have there. Okay, Mr. Gingriss's conduct violates several provisions of Rule 42, Arizona Rules of the Supreme Court, including ER 3.3, candor towards the tribunal. He knowingly made false statements of fact in a court filing, presented fabricated allegations as fact to a tribunal. Okay. ER 4.1, truthfulness in statements to others. His court filing contained false statements of material fact communicated to third parties through the public record. ER 4.4, respect for rights of third persons. By including knowingly false and irrelevant allegations about me, a non-party, he used a legal process to harass and burden a third person. ER 8.4 C and D, misconduct. His conduct involved dishonesty, misrepresentation, and was prejudicial to the administration of justice, undermining confidence in the legal system. Okay. Mr. Gingriss's filing placed false and harmful allegations into the public court record, associating me with violent behavior and unethical conduct. Of course, if you go watch Lauren's videos, she may get fired up sometimes. She may use some colorful language sometimes. But is she doing anything unethical? Is she doing anything like encouraging violent behavior? Of course not. These actions cause reputational harm and emotional distress, and they create a chilling effect on protected speech. His misuse of legal filings to target a non-party undermines the integrity of the judicial process. And of course, we've seen this before. He sent letters that I could only consider threatening to Dave Neal, and I believe Megan Fox, tech van procurement specialist Megan Fox, not the actress, but he's basically throwing his weight around. I think he's used to just sort of making a claim that he's right about something and not having people question it with a fine-tooth comb from a scientific, from a logical, from a standpoint of looking at things from a reasonable perspective. And I think that's where his techniques fall short. I can provide the following evidence upon request: a copy of the September 15, 2025 filing with the false statements and images highlighted. Okay, that's good. Screenshots and documentation disproving the claims made about me. Very good also. Mr. Gingriss's public tweets admitting he did not watch my content before issuing a copyright strike. That's true. I remember that very clearly. Relevant court records and public commentary that provide additional context. And there's plenty of court documents we have here. There's plenty of public commentary on this case from different channels, including, my own commentary and thoughts about these court filings, both from Mr. Serrato and Mr. Gingras in this DVRO renewal case, as I joined Lauren Knighty on her channel in her live streams. Mr. Gingras' actions represent a serious misuse of his law license for personal retaliation and public misrepresentation. His behavior violates ER 3.3, ER 4.1, ER 4.4, ER 8.4, and reflects conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice. Guys, if you want me to do a follow-up video to this video where I go through the specific wording and language of ER 3.3 through ER 8.4, put it in the chat or comments section, and I will do that. I respectfully request that the State Bar of Arizona investigate this matter and take appropriate disciplinary action. And, I think he's already admitted that the State Bar of Arizona has referred him to the disciplinary committee. What did I call it the other night? The committee for troublemakers or something. He's, oh my gosh, it's like when Megan Fox says this guy has sandbox issues. I think that's a good analogy. Like, remember when you're in first grade and you're playing in the sandbox and you can't play, the teacher has to give you a timeout because you stole all the Tonka toys from the sandbox and won't let anybody else play with them. I think he's been referred to the disciplinary committee potentially, and he already has those 11 outstanding, at least, bar complaints against him in Arizona, and now we've got another one here that we've been reading through, which I believe this is the Arizona one. The one filed in California has the relevant California statutes, so it's slightly different, but it has the same bullet points. So we're not going to read through that. But that's where we are. We're up to 12, 13 if you count 2 states. Baker's Dozen, 10% off. Sometimes you can go to the store and they have the rack with the day-old donuts and the day-old bread, and you can get a discount on that stuff. I think we need a Groupon. The bar needs to start giving out Groupons for these bar complaints because there's just so many of them stacking up. Anyway, what do we got here? I respectfully request that the State Bar of Arizona investigate this matter and take appropriate disciplinary action. I'm willing to and able to provide further evidence to support this complaint. So that'll be good. Bar guy can ask Lauren for extra information if they need it there. Sincerely, Lauren Knighty. Okay, that's the end of this new bar complaint against David S. Gingras, Esquire, prior counsel for Miss Owens in the Owens v. Echard paternity case, and the Owens v. Maricini DVRO renewal case in California. If there's further breaking news on this issue, I will let you guys know. Until then, I will remain here ensconced in wood paneling, a drop ceiling. I'm working on the mood lighting, guys. We're going to get it set up. It's going to be a good look. Let me know in the comments. Okay, right now I'm sitting at a bar top, and the bar top is, so the bar counter behind the bar is black. I like that, but the bar top itself is orange. Now, guys, orange is not my favorite color for a bar top, so I think I'm going to paint it. What color would you recommend I paint the bar top to go with the black trim and this fine wood paneling and nice cream drop ceiling surrounding me, ensconcing me? Let me know in the comments, and we will see what we can do. Until then, I want to get back to making another video about the comments on the search warrant execution videos that we've seen in the Arizona v. Owens criminal case. I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to make another video explaining why I'm in this room I'm in right now, and we will do that. Until then, I am Bruce the Moose with the Bruce the Moose Show. Thank you all for your time. Have a good one.